let's get it rolling while we got it rolling. Okay, so first thing I want to kind of make sure I talk to everyone about to kind of set this all up is that why am I even talking about consistency? Why is consistency the topic I chose? We've done this challenge once before back in 2019, the end of 2019 going into 2020. Man, if we had known what 2020 was going to hold, I would have done 6 challenges about being consistent because that ended up being everything, as I'm saying right now. So consistency is everything because why? Because without consistency, all the other tools that you might be considering or needing or resources that you want to do your creative work with, without consistency, none of them matter. Let's say you get $1 million in the bank tomorrow. Let's say you get the prime studio location. Maybe you get, I don't know, you get a bunch of assistants to help you with all of your work. I can think of a million things that would be awesome. Jason, JK, good to see you, brother. So I could imagine you get all these things. Let's say all of your creative problems are solved tomorrow. And anything that you thought you needed are in your back pocket. But you haven't developed the habit of being consistent in creating and doing what you're supposed to do. What happens when you have all the gifts and resources, but you don't have the discipline or the habits to use them? Are those resources worth it? And are they effective? And do they make any difference if you've got all these great ideas, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of resources, but you just don't have the ability to pull it off or to use it effectively? I'm pretty sure some of you are probably saying right now, well, I had all that stuff, I would be consistent. And I would kind of challenge you. I don't think we learn to be consistent when we get the stuff, when we get the resources. I think we learn to be consistent before we get the resources. And then when we get the resources, we're able to stay consistent, right? That's a biblical principle. Faithful over a few things, become rule over many things. You guys have heard that, right? So what I'm proposing is that consistency changes everything, because once you're consistent with your work and your creative life, it's kind of like the Matthew 6:33 thing. All these things are added unto you. Once you get consistent, nothing else really is a problem, because you can move and navigate and keep working even when things aren't perfect, even when you don't have the resources, even when COVID shows up. You're in the habit, you're in the flow of how to work and how to use the best of your resources all the time. And so the resources don't fluctuate, don't throw you off when they fluctuate. They do go up and down, but you still are consistent. If you have problems in even your community or the people around you, like one person is here the next day, tomorrow is not there, but you're still got the habit of consistency, and it changes the dynamic of your creative life. So if that makes sense to you, go ahead and just give me a chat and say, hey, yep, that works. That's me. That makes sense. Okay. So Tobias, Renee, Jason, anybody else watching here on Facebook, if you're watching even on the replay, you can still reply to this, by the way. So let's move on. I like this. I like this feeling, because I think that when you see this in the Creative Challenge, by the way, if you want to sign up for the Creative Challenge right now, go ahead and go to godandgigs.com/CCC. Super easy, right? Triple C's. godandgigs.com/CCC. And I'll break down what we're going to do during the challenge after I get through this little synopsis, okay? So how do you build your consistent creative habit? Well, number one, you got to realize that your emotions are a helper and not a hang-up. Your emotions, a lot of people get a little twisted about emotions. They think that, oh, well, I'm emotional, I'm a creative. Either I got to dig into my emotions, or it means that I'm not really being focused. I'm not being, my emotions get the best of me, and I'm too emotional, right? So we go back and forth. What I would tell you is that your emotions can be a helper, not just a hang-up. Because a lot of people think of emotions being a hang-up, that, oh, I'm emotional and the creative life is up and down. But your emotions can actually help you be more consistent. Hey, Courtney over here on Instagram. Good to see you. Courtney is an amazing creative. She's helping us, and not helping us. She's helping a lot of people, not just me, helping a lot of people by reading through the God and Gigs, Your Art, God's Heart. That's another challenge we have. She's doing the 21-day challenge. So great to see you over here on Instagram. So emotions are really a helper if they are utilized in the right way to help you stay consistent. Now, I can't dig into all this because, like I said, this is going to be in the Consistent Creative Challenge where we'll dig into this. But the long and short of it is your emotions can help you to stay consistent if you focus on how those emotions make you more willing and more likely to stick with what you said you were going to do. If you navigate your emotional life to where those emotions drive you toward success and toward consistency and toward those habits versus away from the habits that will make you not stick with your word, those emotions can be a helper. However, if you connect with the negative of those emotions and you stay in the guilt trip or stay in the shoulda, woulda, couldas, those emotions drive you away from consistency. So what I am advocating to you is that if you can control the emotional connection between you and your work, you're going to find yourself more consistent. And that's what we're going to talk about in day 1 of the challenge. So just tomorrow, if you join the challenge, we're going to be digging into this, how emotions can be a helper and not a hang-up, how they can actually help you to be more consistent in your daily work. Okay, so I hope you'll join right away. guidinggigs.com/CCC. Once again, that's tomorrow we're starting, and I'll explain all of this. And I want to make sure that you have like at least an idea of what you're going to be experiencing. The challenge is basically an exercise on each one of these topics. So once you get into each one of these topics, you'll know so much more about how to utilize these topics and utilize these strategies. But I want to give them to you first. So distractions, number 2. I'm going to just rifle right through these because I can't go into all of them in depth, like I said. Distractions have a purpose and a reason behind them. How many of you are distracted? If you've ever been distracted in your creative work, please raise both hands. I am, because I've been distracted, okay? I live in distraction. This entire brain is distracted. Anybody else ever been distracted trying to get their creative work done? Please don't tell me I'm the only one. Okay? So, distractions have a reason behind them. There's a story behind the distractions. And this is one of the most, I'm getting ahead of myself. I get excited. I wish I could explain how I got this understanding of distractions. And I want to say I probably borrowed it from another book. Quentin Robinson over here on Instagram. Good to see you, brother. I wish I could explain this distraction thing. You have to join the challenge because something about distractions just hits you different when you've lived in that creative life and we're all just bombarded by all these things. And something about the way distractions work on us in terms of just whether it be your phone or Twitter or Instagram or people calling you at the wrong time or trying to stay focused on your work. And there's always something kind of keeping you away from doing that one thing you need to do to get that project done or that album done or that work done, that visual piece done. And I wish I could, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and dig in. I'll just tell you what it is. And then you got to join the challenge to make sure you can dig into it, okay? So distractions, as I've discovered, has nothing to do with just wanting to get away from your work for the sake of, I just want to play on my phone. Or I just don't want to deal with this right now and I want to procrastinate. Distractions have an emotional counterpart. And basically what it is, and you'll see this if you join the challenge, it's the desire for certainty. It's the desire for control, which is crazy, right? The reason you give into distractions is because you want to have ultimately control over everything in your life. And the idea that you can pick up a phone or pick up something and then suddenly be in a different position and not dealing with the uncertainty of what if I work on this project and it doesn't work? What if I work on this for 6 hours and then it doesn't happen? But if I pick up this Instagram post, I immediately have control over my immediate circumstance. So I'm going to dig into that and why distractions are actually your cry for a certainty and why that actually ends up being harmful to your consistency in our challenge. So if that made sense to you, just give me a yes or give me a high five or something in the chat so I know you heard that. Distractions have a reason behind them. And if you pinpoint why you're being tempted to be distracted, you can then go through our exercise and find a solution to that, okay? You don't have to be led astray by your distractions and keep you away from your best work. This is something I've had to fight with, deal with all the time. I still do this. I still work on how do I manage distractions and keep away from allowing me to be pulled away from what God has for me to do so I can do my best work, okay? I feel like I'm missing some chats right now in the creative community, and I'm going to jump in. I hope this doesn't mess up my computer, but I'm going to jump in real quick on the God and Gigs creative community because I can't see that chat and it drives me crazy. So give me 5 seconds while I make sure that I'm not missing anything, because when I can't see one particular chat, it's like, let's see here. Creative community. All right. So if any of you guys are chatting in the creative community, I'm going to try to glance in there. Hopefully my computer doesn't slow down for me running 3 different things. Okay, good. Yeah, I can see it now. Just in case you guys are talking to me and I didn't see it, I want to make sure I didn't lose you. All right. So distractions. There's a reason for distractions. Yeah, I saw my computer glitch right there. My computer's like, no, you're doing too much. All right. Environment is the next section we'll talk about during the challenge. And the short of it, which again, you got to join the challenge, godandgigs.com/CCC, starting tomorrow, 8:15, you get your first email. Okay. And then throughout the day, we're going to talk about how you can continue to be a part of the challenge. But environment, you're in control. I'm in my environment right now. I don't know if you can see around. You can't see because I can't spin the camera around, but I got Post-it notes way over here. I got my bookcase right over here. I got obviously all my stuff. This is not the optimal environment yet, but this is where I know my comfort zone is, even now that I'm kind of talking to you. I wasn't comfortable on video, trust me. But my environment has become where I'm more and more comfortable and more consistent because I know exactly what's in this space. I know exactly where to reach things. I know exactly how to set this up. I know exactly where the cameras are. I know exactly how I can control my environment to create consistency. And by the way, I've been doing this now for every Monday. Didn't do last Monday because we were in Georgia for a staff retreat. So just about every Monday since, I guess, maybe last January. So yeah, about a year. So this marks a year that I've been consistently going live on these very networks, okay? Why is that possible? It's not possible because I had to reinvent things, everything. My environment is now conducive to me being consistent. So you're basically seeing an example of why environment matters so much to being consistent, because if I didn't have this environment, there was no way I would be here right now. If I had to reset this up every week, which I do some resets, clearly, but I have a process and the environment is set up where I know exactly how to get back into the flow and do what I'm doing. And that's something I want to help you do in your life so that maybe you have your environment set up perfectly, but is there something that you could do a little better? Is there something that would make you even more consistent? Something that would draw you in? I have an amazing lesson on that that's really going to help you get understanding of how you can control your environment. And then we're going to do an exercise together where we all make our environments literally the perfect environment to stay consistent and do your best work every day. So are you tracking with me? Let's check in on the chat. Anybody feeling comfortable with that? Making sense? I hope so. Still got a couple of you guys watching over here. Got an Instagram, people working over here. So as long as everybody's with me, it's good. So next, productivity. And I thought this was interesting. I put this here, opposites attract. Here's why I wrote opposites attract. Because what I noticed is that the less I try to do, the more I get done. Does anybody kind of recognize that kind of dichotomy there? The less you try to do, the more you do. You would think that it would be the opposite. Like I do more and then as I plan more things and I get more effective, I do a lot more, I plan more stuff and I do more stuff. But the opposite is true. The less I do, the more I do. And that's really why we have to really think about efficiency and productivity in a different way. Instead of these big long lists you might have of your creative life and you put up all these things on your calendar. And I do the same thing. I fill up everything. I fill up the entire calendar. It's like, oh, I'm going to fill up all this stuff. And the bigger it feels, where's my agenda? I want to tell it myself. Here it is. Hold up. Come right back. So here's my agenda, right? So not much on there right now. Like a couple of things. This is a new agenda, by the way. Franklin Covey. I love these agendas. Anybody else have a planner that you do a written planner as well? I do a written planner, so this one's new, and it's not a good example of filling up my calendar. Although January got pretty full pretty quick. So my explanation, if you saw my digital one though, it's a mess. So my digital one, I just like wrote 1,000 things probably in the last couple of days, and that was a mistake. Because the less I write down, the more I end up getting done and the more efficient I am, because the things I write down and the things that I make sure I do are simply the most productive and the most important. The things I need to prioritize. And in our creative lives, oftentimes, if you try to do much, you end up doing little. But if you try to do little, you end up doing much. And I'll explain more about that, about how you need to kind of focus on the one thing that you need to get done each day and break your tasks into smaller chunks and make your wins smaller. Semini, who's one of our people, we're actually going to share a talk with her and her husband, Michael, on the podcast. Semini talked about small wins. That's the lesson. And she loves that lesson. She said that was one of her major lessons that she learned that's still helping her. And so we're going to talk about small wins and why that's a key to being consistent and how that will elevate your efficiency. All right. So those are 3 or 4 different things we're going to talk about in the creative challenge, the consistent creative challenge. Again, all the C's. But go to godandgates.com/CCC today. I'm doing this on Monday. We start tomorrow. Okay. We start tomorrow. And 8:15 is when that call comes in. So the first email comes in, and then we'll do at 12:30 Eastern, we'll do a chat. And then here's the cool thing. And I'll do this last thing, and then I'll talk about what the cool thing is we're going to do. If you can hang in there for me for 5 more minutes. The last thing we're going to talk about in the creative challenge is consistency and community. And you represent, even as I'm talking to you right now, you represent the community. You represent, and you are part of an artistic community. No matter where you are, you're part of a community. God and Gigs community, writing community, musician community, filmmaking community. You are part of a community. The question is that community helping you stay consistent? Question, I'll let that hang in the air for a little bit. Is your community lending to your consistency? Or is your consistency being hampered by your community and you're not really utilizing the community that is, more likely to keep you consistent? If you can answer that for me in the chat, that would be, nice kind of self-assessment there. So yes, your community is helping you stay consistent, or no, your community is not helping you stay consistent. Now, if you're in the God and Gigs community, can't talk, I would say that's got to be a yes, because when I'm a part of this community, I stay consistent. You know how I know? Again, because I'm here today, because I'm here right now. I'm more consistent because I'm a part of this community. I got more done, stayed more focused. 2020 was the most productive creative year I've ever had. Created more things, did more things, wrote more music. Yeah, even I didn't write it. Yeah, I probably wrote more music this time. Just in terms of, there've been other times I've written more songs, but I think in terms of things I can stick with, this was much more creative musically. I have a new live stream series. I have this series. Started actually promoting my books, wrote more often than I ever did before, wrote more consistently. So if that's you, yeah, I see you, Tobias. You can testify to that. The consistency of your community is what determines whether or not you're going to be consistent individually. Because if you're around a bunch of people that are not staying consistent and just are kind of like haphazard with their stuff, I guarantee you are not as consistent as you should be. And you're not producing as much work, impactful work, as you could. I'm glad this is on Instagram, by the way. I'm glad we're recording this on everything. So everybody that you have not, if there's somebody that needs to hear this, share this with them, please. I'm not being braggadocious. This is a deep, important topic because everybody likes to cancel people. Oh, I want to get around people. I don't want to be around people that are not pushing me. I get it. There's a level of canceling that's bad. But there is something to surrounding yourself with consistent people that is absolutely necessary. And I'm just going to stand on my soapbox a little bit and get behind my preacher desk and just say, the Bible says that, bad company corrupts good morals. I'm not sure exactly how that verse is. I mean, it's not exactly as the adage, but I know, grandma would have said birds of a feather flock together. Okay, so just let's save it for grandma and make sure I don't misquote a Bible verse. But I'm telling you right now that if you are not around consistent people, you're not around people who are trying to grow you, if you are not in a community that encourages consistency, like this community has encouraged me to be consistent, because I connected myself in a community that had a standard that I need to show up for and that held me accountable. And if I don't show up, Tobias, you're one of the first ones. I see you so expressive over here on Instagram. See you. I'm now part of a community that forces me to show up and tells me if I don't show up, I know good and well that either I'm going to get a text or someone's going to say, hey, what happened to the podcast? Hey, what happened to the live stream? What happened to your concert? No concert this week? When I don't do a live stream concert, I get emails. I get people like, excuse me? And I'm like, no, I'm taking a break this week. I'm like, oh, okay, you deserve a break. But the community forces me to be consistent because I cannot let them down. And I think that's a huge thing that we can tell each other and help each other do. No, you don't feel guilty. No, Tobias, no, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, man. I appreciate the accountability, brother. Tobias said, yeah, I'm guilty. I'll send you a message quickly. I appreciate that. That means people care. I'm happy that you are watching and listening. And like when I don't show up, you're like, dude, what's up? But if your community is not doing that for you, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sorry. I got kind of like, what? Like, I don't even know words. But if you're not being consistent, check the people around you and ask yourself, are they encouraging me and holding me accountable to be consistent? Or am I basically kind of like spinning my own wheels, trying to use my own willpower to stay on the gas, to stay focused, to stay on goal? Or do I have encouragers around me? Have I enlisted encouragers? Because if you have not enlisted your encouragers and you have not told those people, hey, you are on my docket, you are on my draft list, I have drafted you as an encourager, I expect you to follow through and encourage and keep up with me and make sure I stick with my goals. And we have a community like that here in the Guide and Gigs community. We have people around you, I pray, in your own community, but the Guide and Gigs community, that's what we're here for. To hold ourselves accountable. And so what I really, really hope you're getting out of this right now, if you're watching this either on replay or you're watching live right now, I hope that you share this. And I just got really kind of bold there, but you need to join this challenge, number one. And the people who are watching this need to join this challenge because it has nothing to do with what I'm teaching. It has everything to do with what I just told you. The community is going to keep you accountable to be consistent. And if you want to be more consistent and be more impactful, do more of what you can do, when you can do it, how you can do it, and bless people to the glory of God and the good of others, as my friend Jordan Rayner says from Master of One, the book Master of One. You've got to do that so that you can make 2021 the best creative year it has been. I am not saying this out of hyperbole or trying to sell you on a free program. Oh, by the way, did I mention the challenge is free? Did I mention the challenge is free? The challenge is free. There's no cost. I am not putting a little, $20 product on top of it. It's totally free. All you got to do is sign up and show up. Sign up and show up. Sign up and show up. That's all you got to do. Sign up, show up. Do the exercises, show up for a challenge chat. And then the last thing I'll add, if you're on Clubhouse, If you're on Clubhouse, raise your hand over there. I think Tobias, you're on Clubhouse, I think. Jason, I don't know if you're on Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, if you got an iPhone like I do, I got my 2 iPhones right here. If you're on Clubhouse, we're going to do a challenge chat on Clubhouse as well as 4 p.m. Eastern. So every day, if you join the challenge, guidedgigs.com/CCC. Let me type that in again because I got to go around my mic a little bit here. But guidedgigs.com/CCC to join the challenge. Okay. So once you join the challenge, let me tell you what's going to happen. I'll get this typed up. I can't type it on the Instagram right now, but Instagram, guidedgigs.com/CCC, or just tap the profile link and then tap the first page that comes up. There's a picture at the top of my profile link, and that will be to the Consistent Creator Challenge sign up. When you join that, number one, like I said, you'll get your exercise in the morning, 8:15 a.m. for today's exercise, and your downloads. There are downloadable worksheets for every exercise. Then 12 o'clock, 12:30 Eastern, we'll join each other and we'll have a challenge chat, kind of like what we're doing right now. But we'll talk about, okay, how we're going to implement today's exercise. Then at 4 o'clock, we'll have our Clubhouse talk. For those of you who are on Clubhouse, so you can join us on Clubhouse, do the same thing. Make sure you're staying accountable to the exercise. Do the exercise for that day, okay? Or talk about that exercise on Clubhouse, 4 o'clock. And finally, at the end of the day, I'll make sure you have a recap of everything. So you've got 4 points during the day to follow through with the challenge. Email, which you're signing up for, which is why you need to sign up, because I can't send you emails if you don't sign up. Number 2, challenge chat on Clubhouse. Challenge chat on Facebook in the group. Number 3, Clubhouse chat, same thing, but audio and much more interactive. Okay, much more interactive in Clubhouse, by the way. I'm loving, if you're not on Clubhouse, download the app if you're iPhone. Download the app. Then if someone in your circle is in Clubhouse, they can wave you in. Everyone's like, how do I get on Clubhouse? Download the app and then tell your friends. That's basically how you do it. Get on the app first. Go on Clubhouse app. Right now it looks like a guy playing a guitar, which is very appropriate for us musicians. So download the app and then basically just let your friends know, hey, I just joined Clubhouse. Somebody wave me in. Somebody that has your phone or your contact who appreciates you and respects you and doesn't mind having your name attached, because when you let somebody in on Clubhouse, you're automatically like, they put your name in as, hey, he welcomed him in. So don't act up when someone lets you in the Clubhouse. Don't act stupid, because that's not cool. Follow the rules, figure out how to do it, learn how to do it in Clubhouse. Then start getting active, okay? Don't just start doing stuff and then get the person that let you in trouble because you didn't know how to act. Okay, I'm just saying. Clubhouse is a new animal. Anyway, all that to say, if you join Clubhouse and then you're part of the CCC, the Guiding Gigs Consistent Creative Challenge, we'll do that talk at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll do recaps probably in the creative checkup community, in the creative community as well. All these C's, golly. All right. So I think I've covered everything. I've gone 12:37. I try to finish up by 12:30, so I'm over. But at least you guys were with me. So let me recap. Those of you who are on Instagram, I know you can't see my slides. Sorry about that. But I'll call them out. Remember, today we're going to be talking about Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about emotions during the creative checkup. During the challenge. Can't get it right. During the challenge. We're going to be talking about emotions. We're going to be talking about distractions. We're going to be talking about environment. We're going to be talking about productivity and efficiency. And we're going to be talking about community. So all 5 of those things will be covered in the Consistent Creative Challenge in the CCC, Triple C. You got to join at guidinggigs.com/CCC. Let me tell you, if you're watching this on a replay later in the week, yes, you can still join. Yes, if you sign up, you'll get all 5 lessons. So those of you who are like watching this later and you're like, oh, I missed it. No, join, sign up. And at the end of the challenge, I will send you all 5 lessons, even the ones you missed, so that you can be a part of this. Okay, I think I've gone long enough. I've explained everything. So there's the link one more time, godandgigs.com/CCC. Why am I talking so much about it? Because, once again, I said it at the beginning, if you're more consistent, if you're creating your best work every day, you'll have a more of a God-gifted impact on the world. And my beautiful wife is watching. Hello, my beautiful wife, Leah Paul. Let me wave at you. You're so wonderful, even when I can't see you. So that's that's an example of community. My wife even joined my community, is jumping in with me, probably checking on making sure that I'm doing what I said I was going to do today. But all that to say, the godandgigs.com community, CCC is where you sign up, and that's how you can be a part of our consistent creative challenge, so you can do your best work. And I'm telling you, once you develop these habits, if you dig in, if you don't simply take it as, oh, this is just about checking off checklists. It's not. Way deeper. Way more depth to these lessons that will impact your everyday life in ways you probably don't realize, but you have to dig in first. So if you've been making excuses, if you've been non-productive, if you started this year and you were like, oh, I'm gonna get so much done, and it's already the middle of the month, it's Martin Luther King Day, and you're taking today off, and you're like, oh, I should get this done, I should do this, and then you're like, well, I'll wait tomorrow, I'll do it next week. This whole month is a wash. I'm still messed up. The election messed me up, and COVID still messed me up, and I'm still not feeling like I'm going to get my work done this year, and it feels like a repeat of 2020. Then you need to join this challenge, okay? You need to join this challenge. You need to get involved. godandgigs.com/CCC. Not going to talk about it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I post it on the Instagram and make sure you guys can get it there as well. And it's already all over Facebook, YouTube as well. If you're watching, go ahead and join the challenge. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on all week long. Hopefully I won't lose my voice. I got to get some water and make sure I'm ready to do this with you guys all week long. But it's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. You're going to grow as a creative. You're going to be growing spiritually and creatively through this challenge. So I hope you'll join. I hope you've got something out of how to be more productive today, out of our talk today. And I will definitely see you next Monday, but I hopefully will see you before that. Oh, by the way, we do have a masterclass on Sunday as well coming up. One of our master classes, which you can sign up at godandgigs.com/2021 training. So that's also something I must probably make sure you're aware of. But got a lot going on. I don't want to want to throw too much at you. Like I said, do a little to do a lot. So let's just focus on the challenge, and then hopefully I'll also see you in master class, and of course the podcast and everything else going on that we have. godandgigs.com for everything we are doing. I'll list it all. You can get all the information there as well. Okay. God bless you guys. This was an awesome creative checkup. Thank you for joining me, everybody here on Instagram. My wife, beautiful wife, Leah, and Q, and Tobias, and Courtney, and Doobie Powell was there. Amazing just to even see his name there. So honored. Everybody, Tobias, I think you were on both. Tobias and Vernay and Toya. I saw Toya. Toya? Was it Toya? I saw you, Toya. Thank you for joining me. Jason was in here for a little bit. Everybody that joined us, thank you so much for being a part of our creative checkup. Vernay, I saw you over there as well. So make sure you share this. Even if you're watching this later, share it. I think I touched on a lot of things that actually some people need to hear. A lot of people need to hear, and that will help them improve their everyday creative lives so they can bless God and bless others. And that's all for today, everybody, okay? So I'll see you Tuesday, creative checkup, creative challenge. Can't say all the C's. Creative challenge, consistent creative challenge, CCC. See you tomorrow, okay? Take care, everybody.